Tap my water there. And then also my own voting card. What is the second one? What is the second one? This is too small, but it's okay. Good afternoon, fellow Biafrans. Good afternoon, members of the press. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am saddened by the extreme cruelty the Nigerian state has unleashed on our people. At the same time, I'm overwhelmed by the tenacity and unflinching spirit of our people as, I'm sorry. You're welcome. We have endured a lot and stand to endure even more, underscoring our resolve to attain our inalienable God-given right to existence, freedom, pursuit of happiness, and livelihood. The Nigerian state has been anything but an impediment to all these ideals. Hence, our resolve to exit the enclave has never been more urgent than as it is today. I salute the courage of Biafrans in the homeland who have borne the brunt of the Nigerian state-sponsored cruelty, particularly those that have paid the ultimate price and their families. To the Biafra, thank you enough for standing up for the compatriot and being a source of hope for the defenseless people in Biafra homeland. Those in the homeland who then turn around to degenerate the people as miscreants. This sorry state of the enclave is the primary inspiration for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu fight for the freedom of our people. A realization that a fix within the current enclave, we have demonstrated beyond doubt our resolve to be free, and we must stay focused until our freedom is achieved. Biafra people rights to self-determination, a secured homeland, are at odds with the British imperialism and the insatiable appetite for economic exploitation of the nation on the one hand, and the Arab-Muslim expansionism on the other hand. As our late leader, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, clearly described in one of our fundamental documents, the Ahira Declaration, these forces at play remain unchanged despite the passage of time. As in 1966, subjugation and unwarranted massacre of Biafra of thousands of Biafrans are the main reason for our agitation for independent state of Biafra, which must confront the dual evil of British imperialism and Arab-Muslim expansionism. The confluence of these two evils in the principal reason Nigeria is structured to fail. It is also the singular reason Biafra freedom from Nigeria is inevitable, even though it is also the greatest impediment. It would be childish to assume that these obstacles have disappeared. However, this time we are probably better positioned to manage their complexities better than before, particularly on the account of egregious activities of the Nigeria state and their sponsors. We will use all available means, known and unknown to mankind, to fight for our freedom. We are already seeing the impact of the sit at home, which was initiated to demand the release of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are going to fight, or we are fighting this freedom of Biafra in many dimensional ways. We are using the political approach, we are using the armed struggle approach, and we're using the diplomatic approach. The political approach and the diplomatic approach is the reason why we are here today, gathered in our numbers from all over the world. British imperialism. The British prejudice against Biafra and Igbos in particular played out again recently in a predictable fashion after orchestrating the kidnap, torture, and rendition of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The three co-conspirators had assembled in London to celebrate their feat. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, and Nigeria ex-President then Buhari, assembled in London in the summer of 2021 after the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, not for economic summit, not for Commonwealth meeting, but for what appears to be the track glasses of champagne, for a job well done. 2 years after Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was resignified his failing health and took court judgment for his release, Britain is yet to make public pronouncement denouncing abduction and continued detention of their own citizen, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Up to date, the sit-at-home initiated to demand the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and of course, Biafra referendum is having the desired effect and will remain a potential tool in our toolkit until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released. In one of Buhari's interviews in London, he justified his policies and marginalization of the Southeast by claiming the region did not vote for him. The British interviewer did not attempt to educate the emerging president that a president is for all, not just those that voted for him. Buhari's disdain for the Southeast is epoch, and he would never resist an opportunity to slight the region. Despite making incendiary statements and infamously characterizing the region as a dot in the circle, those with the head of those put the numbers together have now revealed that Biafra initiated sit-at-home civil disobedience is causing Nigeria loss up to 30% of her gross domestic product. This is amounting to tens and tens of billions of dollars in loss. So a dot can translate to 30% of the domestic product. What a powerful revelation. For a region maligned with all manner of names, including landlocked. I also want to inform every one of us here today, even if Biafra becomes landlocked, we are not going to be the first country to be landlocked. Even the imperialist British was getting rattled too at the development from our civil disobedience, from that small dot. If Britain was disposed to a Nigeria president from the southeast, they would have probably been able to persuade one of the major parties to field a candidate from the region, especially because it was the region turned to produce the next president. Rather, they opted to play the British card. They called Peter Obi to 10 Downing Street and got him leave his party, PDP, and then run under the platform of a French party, Labour. Britain know that Peter Obi could not win presidential election running on a French party platform. But in Peter Obi, they saw an opportunity to use one stone to kill two birds. This particular evil were rejected by almost all of you here. Peter Obi's participation in the sham election will give it credibility and at the same time distract us from making progress with our agitation for Biafra freedom. But all those pranks failed woefully. Let me also remind you that the total registered voters in Biafra territory, which is the combination of the South, so-called South-South and Southeast, were 24 million people. Out of these 24 million people, 20 million boycotted participating in the election for Biafra. The total number of people that participated in the election was about 3-something million. This is a referendum on its own. It will go down in the history. When Biafra has been declared, it is going to be part of our case after Biafra declaration, which is going to happen very soon. We are going to use their own mechanism, their own voting system, and ethics to justify our referendum. We are ever closer to our freedom. The Arab-Muslim expansionism, as variously expressed by northern leaders, including former Kano State Governor Kwankwaso and the current Vice President Shetima, who is, by the way, was the founder of Boko Haram. Marginalization of Biafrans and the Igbos in particular has become unwritten policy of the Nigeria state. The marginalization plays in several spheres of national life, from resources sharing to lack of appointment of Biafrans to sensitive position. There is a scandalous lack of infrastructure in Biafra land, indicating absence of the Nigeria federal government. The few federal roads that exist are poorly maintained. The federal government refuses to maintain those roads, even when they are completely impassable. Yet, the federal government refused to grant state government permission to maintain sensitive federal road within their jurisdiction. For example, Onitsha Owerri Road has been completely severed by gully erosion at Onitsha. On the other end of the city, the Onitsha Enugu Expressway is impassable. In effect, except for the Onitsha-Saba Road, Onitsha town is essentially isolated, and the resultant traffic deadlock can result in journey of 1 hour taking upward of 8 hours. In addition to very inhumane roadblocks by the Nigeria Boko Haram infiltrated security agents. This has been the state of road in the region. The citizen with poor understanding of their right and obligation of their government to them are forced to live in conditions that we considered inhumane in the other part of the world. There is nothing they have not tried. Without exception, foreign investors are steered away from the region by Nigeria government. It is not by error that there is no government-funded industry in the area. No functional international airport, no railroad, no seaport, despite the fact that Biafra covers the largest segment of the Nigeria coastal exposure. Nothing to show for Nigeria presence in Biafra land. There is nothing anybody can do today for us to step back an inch. It is not by error that they are doing all those things they did, or they are doing at the point without a seaport. By comparison, Nile Delta has at least 2 seaports. Mississippi Delta has 7 of the 50 largest seaports in the United States. The gangs too led its otherwise most productive population of 70 million Biafrans as we have it today. The lack of the national inclusive agenda has been the bane of the country. It's always been different ethnic nationalities pursuing sectional agenda, with those in power pursuing policies that adversely affect the others, again underscoring the absence of nationhood. And any idea of one Nigeria is merely a leap catastrophic end. The danger diversity must be dismantled for us to be alive. The process of dismantling this particular dangerous devices is the reason why we are here today. However, the agitation and the liberation quickly changed to self-preservation after the US-led NATO forces deposed the Libya leader, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. It is widely believed that Islamic militant from that war soon of the northern politicians and Muhammad Buhari when he invited them to enter Nigeria without visa. The wanted power returned to the north. The terrorists under several identities, including Boko Haram, ISWAP, Fulani herdsmen, and etc., quickly established presence in Nigeria. They are first impunity and have taken a wide range of targets, ranging from invading military installation and killing soldiers, invading indigenous communities, butchering scores of people, which has occurred with regular frequencies. Remember, those military people that are with them, because they have those in the military who have alliance with them and has oath of allegiance to give them information, and all agenda is to Islamize Nigeria. It was not long before elements from the north started verbalizing that Fulani dailies and national newspapers, and even in televisions when they come online to tell you that Fulanis from all over the world are Nigerians, with express invitation for them to come and settle in Nigeria. These are people that were ranked number 4 most deadliest terrorist group in the world. To settle in Nigeria, they would need land, and to get land, they are not buying it. Unlike the Biafrans, go anywhere in the world, from Nigeria to other African countries, we buy land, we build a house, we invading indigenous communities and forcing them out of their land while leaving many dead. Those that survive the attack end up in internally displaced people's camp. There are millions of people now in those camps, and these rampaging Fulani invaders have had the infantry to still attack people in their camp, in these camps. The Fulani-controlled Nigeria state desire to increase Fulani population in Nigeria explain why the security operative have not been helping in checkmating or checking these activities of the invaders. In many instances, the security operative have been accused of aiding terrorist, inhuman activities, as they have not done much to stop them. In many instances, we saw where community leaders come out openly and publicly to lament that during the attack and massacre of their people, the military were sharing these massacres, those killing their people. Retired General Theophilus Danjuma has publicly accused the military of complicity and encouraged citizens to arm themselves for self-defense, because people waiting on protection from security operative would end up being killed and kidnapped by their vendors. After this call, it is only the Biafra people that have lived up to the expectation of many people in the northern Nigeria. And that is made possible because of you that are here today seated. Because of you, we are no longer crying like we used to do in the past. So the agitation and the liberation for Biafra freedom has since shifted from agitation and marginalization to agitation for self-preservation, or at least the latter has bolstered to the former. Despite their unimaginable crimes against humanity, Fulani leaders will go to any length to minimize and normalize Fulani jihadist atrocities in Nigeria. Nasser El-Rufai publicly stated that kidnapping is Fulani people's business, and shockingly linked it to Igbo people dealing on motor parts. This is very absurd. The kidnappers invade communities and abduct people or lay siege on the road, and often unsuspecting travelers are victim, and they are victim. Civilians from every part of Nigeria has suffered and has become the biggest victim, including women and children. People who are not able to pay ransom are killed in front of their abductees and their body parts sold for money. Is this my imagination that Nigeria, in other hands, and the other part of Nigeria, except Biafra, are not doing much to checkmate Fulani atrocities? As being aided by the Nigeria state through their Boko Haram infiltrated Nigerian military, but Biafra frequently run into confrontation with the police, terrorist military, who are not deployed to protect the people, but to kill them extrajudicially. Today, we see forceful disappearance of Biafrans in our own land by the Nigeria state. The political class who routinely go to northern Nigeria for the indoctrination and oath swearing have become willing tools, people like Hope Uzodinma, with which the oppressors utilize in implementing their civil agenda against Biafra people. It is only in Biafra land today that you see military bombardment without officially declaration of war. The Biafra land has witnessed air raid, air bombardment, ground bombardment, and even attempted sea bombardment. We have seen them coming to alliance with India and many other countries in so-called naval, whatever, military training or building relationship and ties. It is all because of the upsurge of this particular Biafra liberation and the way we have been able to protect our land, making sure that we buy sophisticated weapons. In many instances, these politicians and leaders from the region lack the moral ground to fight for the interests of the people they serve, and in several occasions have openly canvassed for measures that are clearly against the people, against the people's interest. They have solicited for the military to invade their communities and indiscriminately kill people and destroy their properties. The evidences are there, as you can see on the screen. This is just a few of these documented videos. These same politicians will ironically oppose such measures when other regions of the country are involved or in matter affecting neighboring countries. Very recently, a former governor and current senator, Orji Uzor, who frequently called former dictator Muhammadu Buhari my father, bragged on multiple occasions about getting to Kuno jet from his father to bomb villages in Biafra land, and he actually did it. This particular sin and atrocity against Biafra people by people like Orji Uzor can never be forgiven. This same senator openly advised against sending the military to Niger Republic when it seems that Nigeria was working with the foreign interest to intervene militarily in Niger following the coup that removed Mohamed Bazoum from power. One of the senators' reasons was that people in Niger Republic are brothers. Does it mean that those in Biafra land are not brothers? Indicating that people in Biafra territory for which he would proudly send military jet to bomb are not his brothers. But these are the people that voted him into power to become a senator. Without them, he will not be at the National Assembly. But he is very quick to order the military bombardment of this particular region. There have been instances of military invasion of villages with associated indiscriminate killing and destruction of property in Biafra land each time gunmen attack military personnel. They run away from the gunmen and attack women and children in revenge. That is not what military should be doing. That is not the rule of engagement. The rule of engagement is not to go after civilians who have our defense forces in Biafra. If they feel that our defense forces has neutralized them, they should go and engage them because they has a gun, they have machine gun, they have GPMG, they have anti-aircraft, they have many, many sophisticated weapons to use to engage them. So why don't they go and engage those with the machine guns? But no, they go after our women and children. And this is unacceptable. And at the end of the day, our beef with Nigeria is not going to end after Biafra declaration. We will make sure that Nigeria and everybody who participated in the atrocity and the killing and genocide against Biafra pay the full price of law. Likewise, the National Defense Academy Kaduna was attacked by terrorists and many soldiers killed, but there were never a reprisal attack by the military around the community that is hosting the Nigeria Defense Academy. That is something that every one of us, including those who are not here, should be pondering on. How many times have military went out there in the north to kill and burn villagers because Boko Haram attacked them? Boko Haram is not fighting like us. We are fighting a different cause. We're fighting for this. The same thing happened in Kuje prison. When Kuje prison in Abuja was likewise attacked by the terrorists, again, the heaven did not fall by the military conducting a reprisal attack on the communities in Abuja, like they do in Biafra land. The story goes on, a clear picture of doubt standard, all indicating that the nation of Nigeria, of one Nigeria, is a deceit and unraveled fraud. Hence, our unflinching resolve for an independent nation where security, equity, justice would prevail. Many military officers have been slain by terrorists in the north, and many indigenous communities have also become victims. However, when these terrorists are caught, the government claims to rehabilitate them with virtually no accountability for their crime against humanity. Rather, they are given a variety of favorable treatment, including placing them in the military, police, and custom. By contrast, people carrying flag in Biafra land and agitating for good governance and self-determination are marked as extrajudicial killing, and they call us criminals and terrorists, while we have not harmed anyone who did not harm us. I'm very, very proud today that I am part of this particular generation. The Ohaneze Biafra politician without regard for Biafra lives. In 1954, at the Commonwealth Games in Vancouver, Canada, Emmanuel Ifejuna got Nigeria its first gold medal in an international tournament, a feat that was internationally celebrated in the whole of Africa, as he was also the first Black African to win such laurel at an international stage. It took several decades before Nigeria could win another gold medal in an international stage. Chioma Ajunwa jumped to Olympic gold in Atlanta 96. In that same tournament, Kanu Nwankwo led Nigeria Olympic soccer team that was predominantly of Biafran extraction to gold, beating the much celebrated Brazilian and Argentina team on their way. Not to forget the exploit of Ndoka Ubade led Golden Eaglet in 1985, and the order that followed after. The list goes on and on. Yet, we are being neglected as the second or even third class citizens of Nigeria before we started this Biafra agitation. In the last 1 to 2 years, several videos have been circulating on social media showcasing the ingenuity of Biafra youth. I have watched many of these videos with severance. I watched a Biafra youth display 3 motorbike, and also prototype airplane that despite its deficiencies, was able to fly. This youth of Biafra, who started having visions of invention in his dreams, could easily be seen as Biafran vision of America Wright brothers. Another of these youth built a remotely controlled drone. One of the youth displayed a stylistic design of a car with intriguing build function, such as rotating the driver's seat to let drivers out. Another youth built an ATM that actually dispensed Naira note. Yet, another demonstrated infrastructural prototype for refining crude oil and generating electricity that actually light up electric bulb. I have also seen another Biafran build Rolls Royce. Most of you have seen it. Last but not the least, another built a pole ladder and demonstrated its use in excavating sand and possibly dumping it in a desired location. A country that is looking for talent to make it great would readily latch into this talent. But Nigeria would rather kill your talent than utilize it. Particularly if you are a Biafran. We see during the war, we developed our science lab at the University of Nigeria, all manner of weapons. Nigeria, instead of leveraging into that, they destroyed it. For this reason, Biafras whose invention are discussed above, I am announcing a scholarship immediately. Biafra is right. Anywhere they are today, they will be the first Biafrans to enjoy scholarship to develop for Biafra. One thing in common with all these super gifted athletes and inventors, they were born by parents, mom and dad, who probably did not have pedigree in their own share of talent. In particular, our budding inventors have parents who may not have had substantial education, talk less of pedigree in science and technology. So when you set out to kill on sight, male and female suspected to be Biafran supporters like Nigeria have done, or indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB members, you are unwittingly killing the potential mom and dad that may give birth to that super footballer or inventor of tomorrow. Why is this important? Many Biafran youth that are being slain today extrajudicially by Nigeria police, Nigeria Boko Haram controlled military for no crime other than being a male and some cases female, found in the Southeast, could be the mom or dad of the super talent tomorrow. I want to inform you today that most of the weapons that Biafra are using today are locally built. We have activated the Ogbunigwe battalion. The Ogbunigwe battalion is dealing decisively, mercilessly with the Nigeria terrorist army. Most countries of the world deploy their military military to protect their citizens, but not to kill them. And even on the quest for Biafra liberation, we are doing that, making sure that the Biafra Liberation Army protect our land, protect our women and children. Our guns, ammunition, and weapons is channeled to Nigeria terrorist state and their agent. And it will continue to be so until the day we will leave Nigeria. Soon after, Mohamed Buhari, on June 1st, 2021, threatened to talk to IPOB in the language they would understand. Police, Baba Usman, instructed his officers to kill them. Kill all of them, and don't worry about human rights. It is there on record. The administration, after this speech, we saw the massacre of Biafrans like never before. I personally cried 3 times during some of the broadcasts. And of course, while some people will pretend as if they actually care, this man is still working free man today. Nobody has taken him to court or prosecuted him for crime against humanity, against Biafra people. The administration reshuffled its security apparatus to ensure Igbos are removed from strategic positions in order to carry this very well. And they did it, and they succeeded. Since then, military and police have unleashed mayhem in houses across southeast of Biafra and traumatizing the entire region. Not only that the southeast governors and Ohanese have not condemned this atrocity, in many cases, they were seen to be facilitating them. When Wike killed Biafrans in Obigbo, Ohanese went there and sang his praises. Every member of Ohanese can never be forgiven. And I hope they are listening to me. I have never said anything and we didn't do it. The military and police invaded Ebonyi State and Imo State on the invitation of the governors of the state, Dave Umahi, then, who is now a minister, and Hope Uzodinma, who is currently piloting the killings in Biafra land. Apparently, in a race for who would pacify their Fulani masters more by killing the people they are supposed to be protecting. I remember during the time Nigeria was purchasing Super Tucano from America, there was something called Lehi Agreement. The Lehi Agreement was that you can't use that particular aircraft to commit crimes against humanity. And then also there was a court injunction, whether it was fake, because you know there are fake people who think they were fighting for Biafra. We're paying them money for nothing. A man who called, what is his name again? Bruce Fenn, claimed he went to the American court to get injunction that Tupac Tekuno will not be used on Biafra space. I want to ask those people who deceived us then, why are Tupac Tekuno flying on our airspace today without nobody talking about it? But I was told that American court has given injunction that it cannot be used on Biafra space, it is only in the north. At that time, Buhari expressed determination to get rid of miscreant. They call us miscreant because we ask for our right. I want every one of you to look at yourself. Are you a miscreant? Thank you. We have professors here, we have doctors here, we have business people here, we have decent people that do decent job. All of you are here looking very decent. I'm not seeing any miscreants. This man who never went to school who cannot actually be in the same class with you because you are more brilliant than them. He expressed the desire while doing nothing about super miscreant and murderers pillaging in the north and committing mass murder on a daily basis. For the avoidance of doubt, let it be said that there are no miscreants in the southeast. Is how and why Ohanaeze and Southeast governors were willing accomplice of the Buhari evil agenda against Southeast and part of Biafra, which they actually achieved. Because a lot of our youth, over 40,000 people have been killed, 10,000 missing, many thousand being detained illegally without any trace of them today. And like I said again, those who are part of this crime can never be forgiven. We are taking record of them. They never believe that what we are doing is going to be success. Today, some of them are panicking. As I'm seated here a few minutes ago, I was getting a message from those of them in the zoo that they are summoning emergency meeting because of this particular convention. And like I've always said, I am very, very closer to them than they can ever be to me. Buhari evil agenda against Southeast in terms of mental health and other health indicators. The long-term effect of these unwarranted killings, destruction of life and property, and exposure of large segment of the population to trauma is a subject of another discussion. By the time the military, the terrorist military and police were done with their initial incursion, the Ohanaeze on August 4, 2021 commended them for bringing back safety, which literally meant thank you for killing our people. Ohanaeze, after this Finland convention, will be haunted by Biafra people. It is the only way to effectively implement the self-defense of Biafra people, by making sure that those who are the genitor and the instigator of this killing are stopped. Without them, no Fulani will have the impetus to come to our land. August 5, the Human Rights International indicated that Buhari government indicted Buhari government for extrajudicial killing of at least 115 people. Of course, people, when I mean people, I say Biafra people in the southeast, from March to June 2021. But at Owerri Federal Medical Center, the facility was said to be overflowing with corpses of those extrajudicially murdered by the police and military. On October 3, 2021, the facility and the state government issued a public notice for corpses to be claimed within 2 weeks. All this happened before our very own eyes. The deadline to claim the dead or plan for mass burial of the slaughtered by government agent, many of these people had been killed without any families knowing about it. When did you hear about mass killing in Biafra since we took over this government? We have stopped them with superior firepower. Biafrans have stopped Nigeria from this atrocity with more superior firepower. We will continue to add to our weaponry. After this Finland Convention Our agenda is to make sure that we bring down every sophisticated weapon you can think of. We can lay our head on. Subsequent and repeat indiscriminate military police killing and burning of homes in Imo State, Abia, Ebonyi, Enugu, and other parts of Biafra land have occurred without any meaningful condemnation from Ohaneze nor the governors. Anambra State was relatively spared from the killing from June 2021 until November 6, 2021 election. The Buhari administration deployed over 3,400 security forces to Anambra State, with the usual order, shoot any Biafra sympathizers. As the administration was determined to conduct an election for state governor that many believed was a sham arrangement to impose a governor on the state and giving a historic backdrop of the declaring winner even when election do not take place. I want you people to understand that today, Hope Uzodinma of Imo State already have a result of the election that is to be conducted this November. Even at that, we will stop election in Imo State. In addition, politicians have notoriously disappointed by not serving the people, rather, they siphon public fund for their personal use. The result is lack of infrastructure development and deterioration of the few existing ones. All this military deployment in the Southeast are happening in the face of unimaginable insecurity and wanton loss of life in the North, orchestrated by Boko Haram, ISWAP, Mayete Allah, Fulani herdsmen, bandit, and etc., etc. But the President Buhari administration was not interested in deploying the military to the north against ethnic Fulani, regardless of their criminality, at least not to the extent of killing them. Rather, the military and police, predominantly from the southern Nigeria and the Middle Belt, are frequently the victim of the attack. And there was never a military or police revenge mission on the communities this attack occurred. We are frequently told that large number of them have repented, which makes way for them to be rewarded with placement in the military, police, and other agencies. The regime employed the tactics of minimizing the crime of Fulani ethnic group, for example, describing kidnap and the slaughter of people as business, while at the same time exaggerating and mischaracterizing as criminal other group protests against Buhari failure. Citizens of the world have a right to express their displeasure with their government, and the most reasonable country respond with dialogue and engagement. Between December 2001 and June 2002, we watched with bewilderment as Argentinians were on the street daily until they got a president that was sensitive to their aspiration. During those 6-month period, at least 4 presidents took office in Argentina and resigned in response to popular opinion. Power of the military and police was not unleashed on the people. But Nigeria, the story is different. I want you to understand today that even at the power center of Nigeria, they have recognized and branded me as the governor of the Southeast. Certain segments of society were comfortable with Buhari catastrophic humanitarian disaster and senseless loss of life. Throughout the administration, there was no coherent and sustained voice that asked the president to resign, which understandably was linked to Nigeria ethnic politics. Even though Buhari was a terrible president for the generality of Nigeria. He executed the Fulani agenda without question. Yet, people talk about one Nigeria. No country will be one without inclusion, equity, and justice. The worst part of it is that when this issue is being discussed, you don't see any representative of Biafra in the table. Unleashing your military on the people you are supposed to protect instead of engaging on dialogue and making sustained effort to address grievances has the opposite effect. You cannot claim one Nigeria while at the same time exclude segment of the country from the benefit of belonging to the same country. When you choose marginalization as a tool, you have wittingly and unwittingly signed up to fail. Olusegun Obasanjo has not always been pro-Igbo. In his first administration as civilian head of state, 1999 to 2003, he played the marginalization game against the Igbo and chose Andy Uba to play the role Loretta Onochie played for Buhari today. As an assistant to the president, these people would readily spit at agitation for Igbo interests. And Andy Uba was the tool used against Wazirike. But all that changed in Obasanjo's second term. He headed to Gani Fawemi admonition that Obasanjo could not be serious with development with his continued marginalization of the Igbo despite their creativity and industry. Subsequently, Obasanjo appointed Charles Soludo and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as the governor of the Central Bank and Minister of Finance, respectively. Both esteemed Igbo son and daughter were instrumental to economic policies and reform that ultimately qualified and end Nigeria debt forgiveness choose, fed up much needed fund for development. The reason these people are not supporting Biafra today, which they will never support and we're not expecting them, is because they are corrupt. Many of us living abroad have seen that many countries that have embraced equity and justice are doing well. United States of America, Russia, Australia, and China are some of the countries with intimidating mix of talent and natural resources, which they have deployed to optimum effect. Not all developed countries are endowed with natural resources, but in the absence of abundant natural resources, those have that, choosing to tap into these human resources, inclusiveness, equity, justice, and utilization of right talent for the phenomenally well. This country includes Japan, Singapore, Israel, New Zealand, and the EU countries. Having natural resources endowment give additional tools in your toolkit. And this is the reason why countries with natural resources should be doing well. I want to inform you all today that immediately Biafra is declared, the development of Biafra will kickstart the next day. Yes. By the way, that is the Minister of Urban Development. I want you all to understand that my speech may be long, but it is worth listening to. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, provide a classic example of the role of abundance of natural resources in development. We will beat them hands down. UAE, for example, provide an inevitable case of leaders with desire to serve the people. And this is what the Biafra Republic government in exile has demonstrated. Within a very short period of time, because of the leaders we have achieved something that the Biafra agitation have not achieved for the past 20 years. We have demonstrated that we are well organized. Our government is one of the best government in exile so far from the history. I have researched very well on many government in exile, and I'm telling you, nobody has done half of what we did, what we're doing. Despite abundant natural and human resources, Nigeria continued to struggle, continued to go into debt, because it was never the idea of the founders to have a developed Nigeria. Nigeria is not meant for progress. Now it is our duty to even crash it the more. The only agenda we have now is to crash the economy, to crash the security apparatus, to crash everything of called Nigeria within Biafra territory. By the majority vote and by the majority of Biafra people, we can see today from our seat at home, we have overwhelmed Nigeria within Biafra land. After this successful Finland convention, where a lot of things will start happening any moment from this minute, after this reading this speech. The foundation of Biafra freedom will start any moment from now. Because we are going to adopt a historic charter that will set the pace for our freedom. Despite claims of one Nigeria, there is really a national agenda that is not ethnically engineered by the ethnic group in power to charge other ethnic groups. Having cattle roaming the highway, low-waste township, villages, farmland, and destroying people's livelihood, and the worst of all, killing the people if they complain, is beyond imagination and definitely at variance with equity, justice, fairness, and building a united, prosperous country. I want you to understand that nobody else will come for your aid. We have learned to come for our own aid. There is nothing in this world like knowing your right. I know this right and I'm using it judiciously. The concept of equity. Let's say that equity and justice is said to prevail when you have a system that works. Everyone, regardless of who they are, but very often that is not the case. So you have the oppressed who suffers under the extant instrument of law behavior pattern imposed by the oppressors. When the oppressed come to realization of gross injustice meted out to them and are willing to agitate for remedies, things begin to change. Of course, in Nigeria own, you need hammer. And the hammer is directed at the leaders from the Biafra region. We are using the hammer on them. After today, we are going to drop the hammer and take chisel. What is that big stuff? If hope Uzodema If Hope Uzodinma is watching me now, because I know he's watching, if he's watching me now, tell him that after this particular convention, we are dropping hammer. And what we're going to, who is going to tell me the name of this big, Anyike, right? Thank you. The oppressors acknowledge injustice, intentional or not, and are willing to negotiate for remedies to address injustices, usually through reform and instrument of law. But in Nigeria, it is not possible. Else, oppressed people demand for right and privilege, and the refusal of the oppressors to acknowledge this demand lead to violent confrontation. This is the route the Nigeria government has chosen. The route of killing and destruction as mechanism to stop the agitation. It can never stop us. No amount of weapon will stop this particular liberation of Biafra. Alternative, the agitation or the liberation of Biafra is to continue to live under the status quo. Oppression, subjugation, denial of basic human rights, and basic amenities. As we can see, every Biafran right is being deprived, from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu down to the lowest. And I ask, for how long will this continue? You see our elders going to Abuja to beg. You see our so-called Igwes going to the north to kneel down for a caliphate king. This is breaking my heart. Our elders has disgraced us to the highest. But we are getting the integrity back. The might of Biafra and the value that God created you with is coming back. We Biafra people must fight for our freedom. Mental and structural economic, not an option. Our forefathers in Biafra land did not bequeath onto a despondent society. The present day politicians cannot force one onto us. That's why we are bringing Biafra from diaspora. When I told them we are going to bring Biafra from diaspora, they doubted me. But I want to tell you one thing. We are going to have self-referendum in Biafra land. Every one of you in diaspora will partake in the voting. And after that, we will declare Biafra and defend it. The reason we are following this part is for them to understand that we have used every mechanism available to man, including the armed struggle and the political and diplomatic means. It covers all. So you don't say we did not try the peaceful way. We are ready for anything, and it is happening. The USA rebelled against the British colonists and eventually fought a war. April 19, 1775 to September 3, 1783. I want you to check how many years was that. To free themselves from paying tax that were not spent on their well-being. Just exactly what is happening to Biafra people today in Nigeria. You are the source of the GDP of Nigeria, but they don't spend it on you. You have no hospital, You have your own electricity. You pay for your own security. You pay for your own water. You build your own road. You build everything, yet you pay to Nigeria and nothing for it. These men, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and their compatriot gathered together, fought through their opportunity and challenge and crafted September 1787. Statements that were intended to advance mankind in the name of U.S. Constitution, we the people. That particular thing is replicating itself in Biafra today. When I mean today, I mean in this hall today. Because it was deeply thought out intention to advance humanity. After over 200 years, it is still the Constitution. It has undergone several amendments, many of which in response to agitation. Over the years, to make it more just, more inclusive, compared that with how many constitutions the zoo has had in its 60 years, in the 60 years plus short life. Ironically, none of the zoo constitution come close to the noble goal of advancing humanity. This, what you have today, is called the military decree. They changed the name to constitution. Rather, a shameless charade aimed at subjugating the people by favor ethnic Fulani. Where Fulani has no resources, Biafra has resources, and they have it in exclusive list. You can't utilize it. They take it from you. They become the MD of Nigeria Petroleum Corporation. They lead and head every department using the oil and the natural resources from your land. I was watching a Ebonyi State governor who was asked, how much do you generate from salt as the salt of the nation? He doesn't know. He said, it is Abuja people that knows how much they make in salt. Because it is in the exclusive list. Fulani doesn't have land to know if they have the salt, they are going to remove it from the exclusive list. Yet, in state of the north, there is gold. They mine the gold for themselves. And no Nigeria government, federal government, poke nose into it. But the state governor in Ebonyi State doesn't know how much they make in the salt, from the salt. This is very outrageous revelation that should wake the subconsciousness of every Biafran, because it is happening in other states as well, not just in Ebonyi. There are states in Biafra land that are oil producing states. They don't know what is going on. In the face of brazen display of injustice, subjugation, marginalization, discrimination, deprivation, it is abnormal not to agitate. That's what we're doing today. The course it takes depends on how the oppressors choose to respond. Whether they choose to send negotiators in honest effort to address the issue, or they double down and send the military and police. Today, they have tried to bribe me with trillions of naira. Instead of addressing the reason, I'm telling you the fact, they have, just last week, I got the information that they are ready to make me the richest man in Africa. I said to them, does it mean that you people are not even interested in releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Because that is what it means. I gave a simple demand. Release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then we can see how far we can go with that. And that particular demand continue to stand. Otherwise, Biafrans will continue to hit you the hardest way. As it turned out, our hosts for this convention, Finland, fought their own war for their own freedom. Most people of this world fight to the end when faced with threat to their survival and well-being. You can't call me a terrorist and then praise Mandela. You can't call me a terrorist and make Gandhi a legend. However, my dream is to become more powerful than them. Because I know Nigeria is the most complex, complicated country, and I am fighting it in the same complicated way. I told them I will remain the equation they will never solve. Some of you may not understand the reason why you are in Finland today is not just a coincidence. It is something that God has planned for many years. I don't care how the Webster or Oxford Dictionary define agitation. Based on our life experience, I stand here today to define agitation as a natural adaptation to threat to our survival and well-being. So it is normal to agitate. What is abnormal is not agitating in the face of threat to one's survival and well-being. Woe unto those that have chosen to keep mute while millions of their compatriots undergo unimaginable inhuman treatment on the scale Nigeria has imposed on our people. And there is many such people. During our preparation for the opening of the Biafra Administrative Office in Baltimore, United States, we wrote letters to the community. One church, Trinity Church, Baltimore, asked us, "You are not the only people from that country in this church. Why is it that you are not only, you are the only one talking about it?" Because the people in the church never cared. They are in the United States and they are living comfortably well. By the time the pastor saw the scale of the government-sponsored genocide in the land, he was overwhelmed and asked, "Does the US government know about this?" The US ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, should answer the question. Of course, these are the people that are corrupt. If Finland is a corrupt country, by now, a lot of things would have happened. Or you know. And I will be in this country and liberate Biafra. Also, the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, whose first action as Secretary of the State was to remove Nigeria from the list of countries where Christians are persecuted. That should answer the question as well. I want to remind you that Secretary Blinken removed Nigeria while he was on the way to Nigeria. He didn't even arrive in Nigeria before he removed Nigeria from the list. That's a sign of corruption. Of course, when he came to Finland, we submitted a letter to him. Whether he received the letter is a story for another day. But we submitted the letter to him. The US government knows about the killing, but they prefer not to do anything and not to give it publicity. Because we have researched what America did during the Biafra War, and we know what to do. And what we have to do is to continue to fight Nigeria with everything we have. And the way we are going to fight Nigeria is not the way we fought Nigeria in 1967. We are fighting them systematically. We will see them, they will not see us. They understand that publicizing it will result in the citizens forcing them to do something. It was in response to publicity of the Biafra War in 1967 to 1970 that Bruce Merrock, aged 20 and a student at Columbia University, New York, on May 29, 1969, set himself ablaze at the UN building in New York City. The UN, Bruce, shortly after he died from the burns injury, as a 20-year-old and her of an infant family, Merrock Fortunoff, he had a bright future ahead of him. He did not have to do what he did. But seeing the senseless massacre of Biafran during the Nigeria-Biafra Civil War was more than he could handle. And we dedicated our administrative office in the United States to him. He could not understand why the world, and in particular, the United States of America, could let extreme wickedness go on for so long as obnoxious image of man, inhumanity to man, as exemplified by death and destruction, and millions of Biafran children dying from kwashiorkor were shown on television around the world. This something that people did not know was that America was actually doing something, but we didn't know about it. The people piloting the Biafra war didn't have knowledge about what was going on. The United States had to turn down Gowon requests not to send aid to Biafra. Things were actually turning to the Biafra side. Gowon had knowledge because of the saboteurs that are close to the American government, but Ojukwu didn't have access. So as this was going on, when Gowon knew that America was turning its back, he hurriedly deceived the people on ground to give up the war. And that was actually what happened. So America, although they started reacting late, but whether they were actually doing something for Biafra, yes, we have come across the secret document. The difference is that this time around, we are going to fight Nigeria systematically. We're not going to give Nigeria the opportunity to go into a conventional war. We're going to kill them slowly, slowly until we declare Biafra. And that is why the legitimization of Nigeria within Biafra have started. And we are going to crush every state government within Biafra land until they will have no money to pay salary. It is called why they give us a blockade and we're dying in hunger. We're going to give them economic strangulation. After this convention in Finland, we are going to focus to make sure that no secretariat in Biafra land will operate. It will become a duty for every forces in Biafra to make sure that every secretariat is neutralized. Bruce probably became aware of the Biafra-Nigeria conflict because it was covered by the media, and consequently, he did the unthinkable. Many believe helped to force the Nixon administration hand to end the war. But unknown to him, and even to date, nobody, not the US, EU, AU, nor the UN, want to go against British interests. You see this wave of change that is now blowing all over the world. It is for Biafra, believe me. The 1967 to 70 war ended. What did not end is the killing. But this time, it is not being reported on the news. It is as though there is international conspiracy not to talk about ongoing conflict in Nigeria. For more than a decade now, Biafra are once again agitating for freedom. What was initially motivated by agitation against marginalization has transformed to agitation for self-preservation, as the Nigeria government, under the control of ethnic Fulani, appears to be pursuing an agenda to increase Fulani population and change the demography of Nigeria. This agenda has led to the Nigeria government encourage Fulani invasion of communities and slaughtering everyone, men, women, adults, and children on their way. They kill children and cut off their head. They kill pregnant women, open their belly, and bring out their fetus and cut them into pieces. And these have been pattern community after community, and one attack after one another. Now that the world has seen similar killing in Israel, after Hamas invaded of Israel on October 7, 2023, most people are wondering how someone could unleash this extreme cruelty on innocent Israeli. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria, what happened in Israel that resulted to Israel bombardment of Gaza is happening every day. Nobody is reporting it. In Ebonyi State, for example, the governor then, Dave Umahi, came to see how they slaughtered the people, and he cried on camera. No international community, no international media has actually reported it. As you listen to me, you may be compelled to think that I am making it up. Understandably, so because it is too cruel, too gruesome to be true. You may further query, as the pastor I earlier mentioned wondered, if it were true, why is it not in the news? This is exactly why the suspicion of international conspiracy makes sense. I remember having come in contact with some of the Finnish journalists. They always tell you, we can't verify those images. This is exactly why the suspicions will continue to grow, because there is nowhere else in the world that this manner of despicable act could be going on and it would not make headlines. The atrocities don't get mentioned in the news, and major social media platforms like Google and Meta forbid using their platform to share these images and videos. Nevertheless, they have managed to find their way to the internet. A simple Google search will lead you to trove of a glory image and videos that would almost certainly repulse you. So we have one of the worst government-sponsored violence in human history unfolding in Nigeria, and it is not being discussed anywhere. Not on the news, and definitely not in the UN. Many people have accused Nigeria atrocities of complicity, but the government has not demonstrated any meaningful interest in stopping the atrocities, which often within the reach of military unit or close, enough for the military to be able to prevent or stop them from happening. It is as though the government has come to accept these atrocities as norms and what appears to be unacceptable to them when community organize themselves. At the time, part of Biafra territory have been ongoing military invasion, and people are being killed every day. Noteworthy are Izu River massacre under Governor Peter Obi, Onitsha Mpo massacre under Governor Obiano, Ogbaro massacre under Soludo, Oyibo massacre under Wike, and the list can go on and on. In a democracy, power deprived from voting strength, one would think that politicians would work hard to preserve their voting population, but as we have seen very often, politicians in Biafra land have been instrument and tools for elimination of their own people. They appear too willing to indulge in the behavior because their mandate are not to deprive from the people, rather from the commitment to serve as agent of the Fulani Caliphate. Most people of the world will fight to the end when faced with threat in their survival and well-being. So it is natural to agitate for the betterment of our people. And the only way we can be better is when we govern ourselves. I know that you are tired, but believe me, we are almost there. It is only through agitation that one may achieve the concept of equity and justice. Given the scale on the depth of issues, Biafra freedom is the preferred realistic solution. Our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, famously said, we have crossed the Rubicon. Today, here in Helsinki, through the instrument of Biafra's self-referendum and the Helsinki Declaration, we take another decisive step that makes us closer to the actualization of Biafra freedom and Biafra independence. With this, I will now invite Dr. Bryson Okeoma to present to the Biafra people the Biafra Charter to the convention. Welcome.
But I'm a victory on the way. Them are good. Share the one me dialogue. Oyo dinaka mepara, olutema kampata yo pankusa. No retreat, no surrender, no stretch until we take over. Kanse kwado, so chukuma. Ida anunta, wogeba. Swing no divide. Boys are to go wise. If I'm at twice, if I teach you when grace arise. Overlooking up, you got no guy. You got no guy. Me cholia, you got no potwai. You got no potwai. Overlook your one, you got no guy. You got no guy. I know Maputa, you got no potwai. You got no potwai.
If I'm a one, you can you multi-fell. If I'm a one, you can you mulanya.
Anyaga machikitiki femelende nani manyo. Chukwena o bigewena o. Chukwena o lisewena o. Anibo fo otinajianyo. Anibo fo otinemuranyo. Chukwbikanyo ikwebikanyo aniwakakono. Ndira banaga. Chukwbikanyo ikwebikanyo aniwakakono. Ndira jabanaga. Ibo kwenu hey. Ibo kwenu hey. Ibo kwenu anibo fo muchu. We go kwenu hey, we go kwenu hey, we go kwenu ani go fo anya miri na bambo mwe chetara obibo imano soso na somo iya mera ni lenugo agamakodo ne aribe ya o agamakolo odimmo o. All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra! Please get seated. Please get seated. More exciting things are coming. We haven't even started. All right. Order. Please get seated. Let's continue. Oh! Mazugo! Oh! All right. Mazugo, welcome. Everybody take a seat. Take a seat, my people. Take a seat. Let's continue. Take a seat. Let's continue. Welcome, Mazugo. All right. Next on our agenda is the formal reading of the Biafra Charter. We invite Dr. Bryson Okeoma to continue. Thank you. Okay, so this can then do it. Do you want the other thing? Okay, you have. This is good,
yeah. Okay, thank you, the Prime Minister. What a wonderful uplifting speech you've just rendered to the Biafran people. I believe by now you should have figured out that they love you so much. And I also want to thank the Brigade Cabinet and everybody that played a role in making today possible. My special thanks, our message goes to our prophet, the Jesus of our time, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Kanu's teachings and preliminary work made this day possible. Even though the zoo may not give him the opportunity to tune into this event, I am sure his spirit is here with us. I also have a special message to the politicians
and their surrogate, who are serving as agents for subjugation and deprivation of our people. I believe that our forefathers did not bequeath unto us a despondent society, and the politicians and their surrogates cannot force one on us. Today, Biafrans are unequivocally saying, we want a country where our lives are protected, where our properties are protected, where we have the right to vote and the right to be voted for, where we can aspire to any office, including the highest office of the land. Without other interests working against it, and that nation is Biafra. So with that, I will go ahead and read the charter. As you can see, it's carefully displayed on the screen there. The charter is a document. The Biafra Charter is the organic foundational agreement for establishment of a national structure, governance structure, governing authority, and a basic code of conduct for the functionaries and peoples of Biafra. The charter is a formal instrument which at once constitutes authority, mandate, contract, memorandum, terms of reference. I wouldn't read line by line, I will just focus on the structure of the document because we are running short of time. The purpose of the charter, the primary purpose of the charter is to establish an enduring national structure, governance structure, and basic code of conduct for the people and functionaries as directed by the people of Biafra, which contribute to and inform a future national constitution. Organization of the charter. The document is sectionalized into Biafra Charter Authorization, the federal structure of Biafra, the charter constituting the government of the Federation of Biafra, the declaration of 9 basic laws, amendments. So this is the section that deals with the charter authorization. Whereas the peoples and the nation of Biafra and their land and property find themselves under physical, sociological, political, economic, and psychological subjugation since the 1914 amalgamation of the Southern and Northern protectorates, and has continued under different political dispensations by the state of Nigeria, in particular since 1970. A state of occupation by Nigeria of Biafra has existed and continues to exist with indiscriminate killings of Biafra people, forceful disappearances of Biafra people, unlawful invasion, destruction of properties, government-sponsored invasion of indigenous communities, and being aided by the military, police, and other security agencies with the main objective of ethnic cleansing, land grabbing, and Islamization. Much of this, the Prime Minister's speech already captured, so I will just move quickly to the other section of the document. This section deals with mandate of BDFG, which is the other arm of government having BRGIE and BDFG working hand in hand to perform all the functions that the government is supposed to perform for people of Biafra. So this is the structure of BDFG. The Biafra de facto government shall consist of two arms: a Biafra Republic government in exile based outside of Biafra, and a Biafra government within Biafra to be known as Biafra Republic government in the homeland. Both arms shall function in tight coordination and in harmony, with the brigade in the apex role. So this section deals with functions of BDFG. And this section deals with conduct. The conduct of the Biafra de facto government shall at all times adhere to basic principles and laws of the Biafra Charter. This section deals with time. This section deals with the national structure of Biafra, their respective populations who have mutually decided and mutually chosen to create an umbrella governance system called the Government of the Federation of Biafra, otherwise known as Confederating States of Biafra. Government thereof, including to represent as a nation all the participating states in all areas where such is required, and this customary practice of modern sovereign and independent nations, such as national airspace and international waters definition and management, international trade, foreign exchange management, international relationships and diplomacy, international borders, boundary definition and management, citizenship and related issues, including passport and visas, currency, and census. So this section deals with the participant states. The concept, use, and practice of states are designed to ensure autonomy and respect for every group, to encourage the unhindered thriving of every group, unhindered thriving of every group that is currently lacking in the enclave called Nigeria, to protect, preserve, and respect the right of ownership and management by each group of its own natural, material, and socio-cultural resources, and to ensure adequate and equitable representation both locally and at the national level, thereby retaining real power in the hands of the communities. The geographic subunits qualifying as states and the criteria to be used will be determined by the peoples of Biafra, conscious of functional capability, practicality, and stability factors. There shall be 33, that's made up of 32 states plus Ebube, which is the capital of Biafra. unless 33 states, unless and or otherwise amended by the peoples of Biafra. Membership of a state shall be automatic for all native peoples and other residents of the provincial community at the time of creation of the state. Residence within a state will be determined by the state and in accordance with federal constitution. All rights of citizenship of Biafra will be respected and enjoyed by all. The laws of Biafra shall take precedence over the laws of states. The states will be divided into counties. Counties are geographic subdivisions of the state. Each state shall be made up of 3 senatorial districts, with each district comprising of 5 counties as described in relevant confederating states of Biafra structure and governance publication. Counties are the equivalent of local government areas and function as such. Districts refer to groupings of geographic locations for the purposes of representation. At the national level, districts refer to the collection of counties that constitute senatorial districts. 5 counties constitute a senatorial district, and the House of Representatives have 3 counties. At the state level, a district is a county, while at the county level, a district is a group of 5 designated towns. The charter constituting the government of the nation of Biafra. This area deals with the preamble. We, the Biafra, peoples of Biafra, in praise of God, do hereby proclaim this government of Biafra by the power and authority of our common law founded in the express free will of our peoples. We do solemnly declare the promise of Biafra's posterity and our common commitment to the freedom, liberty, respect of human rights, prosperity, happiness, and fulfillment of ourselves and the generations of Biafrans to come. So this section deals with declaration of principles. I will just scroll through them because of time. This section deals with Article 1, the structure and powers of the government of Biafra. We have legislative, we have the People's Council, we have council membership and service. This section is the nation's charter. There shall be a nation's chamber comprised of thoughtful and judicious persons elected from their communities for their wisdom and their character in society with the powers as enumerated above. So this section deals with nations, chamber membership and service. Article 2 deals with judiciary, membership to judiciary. Article 3 deals with ministerial. For the sake of the Prime Minister being here, I will read through this. There shall be a council of ministers with the first minister serving as first among equals. The office and official title of the first minister shall be Prime Minister. The Prime Minister shall be elected by a majority vote of the people of Biafra. The Prime Minister shall have primary executive powers subject to oversight by the nation's chamber. The Prime Minister shall have the power to veto legislative measures enacted by the People's Council, but such a veto shall be overturned by 3/5 vote of the People's Council. Section 2 deals with membership of ministerial council. Section 3 deals with ministerial posts. Article 4, Section 1, community government. Section 2, tiers of community government. And Section 3, community government functions structure. Section 4, powers of community government. In Article 5, all representative membership of the government in Biafra shall be by open ballot election by the people. Pay attention to this. Elections must aspire to the highest ideals of democracy. Biafra will have a national database from which individuals that attain voting age, which in this case is 18, will be automatically registered and issued a voting card. All eligible voters shall have the freedom to vote for a candidate of their choice without intimidation. Individuals engaging in voter intimidation shall be prosecuted according to the law. It is the responsibility of the Biafra government to enroll citizens when they turn 18. First one is identity. The identity of each individual is traceable through the mechanism and family of human species, the larger family or circle of the universe, to an ultimate original principle which may be personified or personalized in a manner that affords the most meaning to the individual. Therefore, the individual is seen as a direct expression of that original principle. The Charter shall not allow, respect, or support any law or laws which by their nature or application or implementation diminish or mitigate against this attribute and identity of the individual. Rights. The basic and original rights of an individual are not earned and not assigned, but naturally accrue to the individual by virtue of the fact of the individual's identity as recognized above, whence such rights derive. The Charter shall not allow or respect any arrogation resulting in the deliberate or calculated curbing or denial of such rights. It goes into detail to deal with it. This section is laws. The goal of laws is to set common standards and common reasonable boundaries governing relations between or among individuals or parties for their mutual benefit. It is self-evident that all laws are constructed by human beings and for human beings and are designed to deal with human perceptions, conflicts, uncertainties, anxieties, and vulnerabilities. Since laws reflect changing human needs, human understanding, and perceptions, laws are not to be static, but are to be reviewed and revised accordingly, always with the goal of protecting the basic and original rights of the individual and respecting the individual's inviolable identity as declared above. So this section deals with governance. The people shall choose how they will govern themselves. Such governance will always function in such a way that it is transparently obvious that indeed and in fact, the people are governing themselves by themselves. The fact that the people chose a mode or mechanism to effect governance shall never be construed to mean the ceding or handing over of the function, instrument, authority, and or power of governance to that mode or its agents and agencies. Such agents and agencies serve only at the discretion and pleasure of the people and yield as much power as delegated by and on behalf of the people. Ready to relinquish such at the command of the people. Under no circumstance shall the ownership of the power and other trappings and attributes of governance and governance itself leave the people or be taken from the people. This section deals with government. The people may choose government as a modality and agency to carry out the powers of governance. Such government becomes a service whose master is the people, whose terms are determined by the people, a service rendered for the people and to the people, functioning at the pleasure of the people for as long as the people desire its services. No government shall be or shall act as a master over the people or a master of the people. Above all, no government shall be independent of the people or set itself apart from the people or set itself as a parallel process or entity with regards to the people. No persons or agencies working in government shall rule over the people or rule the people or arrogate to him, herself, or itself any powers or authorities of rulership of the people or over the people. But such must at all times be servants of and subordinate to the people, where full accountability and responsivity are required at all times. The people shall determine the form of government that suits the people consistent with the principles declared above, and their options shall not be limited to prevailing styles and forms around the contemporary world. The sole purpose of government is to facilitate within the authority, power, and resources allocated to it by the people in every manner feasible, the government, development, and fulfillment of the people in a safe, secure, healthy, and just environment. Secularity. The nation of Confederating States of Biafra is founded on the original identity principle, which declares the self-evident that the individual is an expression of the ultimate original principle with whom or with which the individual shares and enjoys a unique, unalterable relationship. It is up to the individual to personalize and personify this relationship according to the individual's understanding. As such, the nation as a collective does not endorse any particular religion, and freedom of religion choice, association, and worship is guaranteed. The supreme laws that regulate and arbitrate interactional behavior and transactions among citizens of Biafra shall at all times derive from the nation's constitution, regardless of the party's religious affiliation. The nation of Confederating States of Biafra does not recognize as religions institutions that propagate hatred, bigotry, racism, sexism, and inequality of human beings as their primary doctrine, nor does it recognize as religion any institutions or institutional practices which do not recognize the foundational rights of the individual as declared above, or which, as a matter of doctrine, violates those rights. The nation of Confederating States of Biafra does not recognize as religions institutions which preach or practice coercion, including forced conversions or forced membership. No exceptions shall be made just because of the acceptance or classification of such institutions as religions elsewhere. Responsibility of citizenship. The prime duty and responsibility of every citizen is to know, respect, protect, and to defend the fundamental rights as declared above of other citizens and of himself, herself, all citizens being equal and treated equally without exception. A huge part of this duty is to make all efforts to ensure that the government and governance are under the direct control of the people at all times, and not the other way around. It is the supreme duty of the citizenry to own and exercise the sovereignty of the nation and not cede such to the state or to the government. Property ownership. The sanctity of rightful ownership is to be perceived at all times and in all circumstances, reflected by the respect of ownership rights, whether it be physical property, natural property, intellectual property, or any other form or type of property. Property of an individual, groups, institutions, or organization, or community or government property. The rights of ownership of property include but are not limited to control, maintenance, management, and disposition. Under no circumstance would the government violate such rights. Rather, government will use its instruments to determine, validate, and or assign rightful ownership in case of dispute or doubt, and to enforce laws which respect and protect these rights. International relationships. The people, through their government, shall determine the relationship of the nation of Confederating States of Biafra with other nations and states of the world. There should be no incongruity between the attitude of the peoples and their government towards any other nation. Confederating States of Biafra recognize and respect the rights of other individuals from other nations and the international rights of such nations and expect the same in return. The Confederating States of Biafra have a strong preference for mutually respectful international relationships. This charter may be modified or amended when necessary by 3/4 votes of the People's Council and 3/4 votes of the nation's chamber. Affirmation and approval. This charter is hereby authorized and affirmed by the approving hand of the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile, Honorable Ekpa Simon Njoko. And by simple majority vote of cabinet members of Biafra Republic Government in Exile and Biafrans in attendance at the Helsinki Self-Referendum Convention 2023, I will leave the last sentence until the election is done.
All right, the appointed time is almost here. History is about to be made. Do you have your voting cards? Voting cards? If you don't have any, please hurry up and get some. And do we know how we are voting? Please. Okay, please listen. Listen up, everybody. Your voting cards. If you want to vote yes, you vote with blue. What are we voting for? Okay, we are voting now to adopt the charter. All right? If we vote majority yes, the charter becomes the law. If you want to vote no, I don't know why you're here, but if you want to vote no, you vote with the pink. Okay, so the voting, are we ready? The voting starts now. No, we are collecting the blue. We will collect them and we will count them so that the world will see.
See that? The flag of Biafra is not what I have never changed from it. The day we will come after the zoo, they will not know what I want Biafra. And nobody can stop us. Anybody on our path is going to fall, is going to die. Instead of Biafra not to come, every living organism in Nigeria will die. I swear to God Almighty in heaven, because we are not going back. Therefore, is the first phase of this very deadly salvo. They will destroy your business. After that, they will take over your houses. When I make way for more funny, I want you to be writing down what I'm saying. Very many years ago, I told you something that has come to light this very day. And in time to come, that the Janjaweed will come to our land. Fulani Caliphate is in charge of everybody right now in the zoo as we speak. Tukude na ọrụ ekumi izira n'izi na mmụọ si anyị n'oge ga-abịa mgbe ndị Fulani ga-abata ala nsọ na ha ga-ekwu n'ọnwa.
All hail Biafra! All hail Biafra! It's okay, the voting has ended. The voting has ended. The voting has ended. Please get seated. Do you want to hear the results? Okay. Do you want to hear the results? All right. We have 220 votes, and all voted yes to adopt the charter.
Lord, give us a freedom of mercy on we Biafrans, and give us a freedom of mercy on we Biafrans, and give us a freedom. Father, we need our leader. Prophet, we need our leader. We need our
All right, so please, I call upon the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic Government in Exile to declare this charter.
Give us freedom, have mercy on we Biafrans, and give us a freedom. Father, we need our leader. Prophet, we need our leader. We need our leader.
Make sure you have your own flag. Make sure you have your own flag. We want the air to be Biafra. Everyone must have flag, please. Everyone. Where are those? Why are those going out? Get your flag fast, fast.
And Flanders, we buy over 150 or 200,000. But on Ibadan, we buy his one for 10 million. Can you imagine? Mad people everywhere. So, what I got? Give them water. But I'm a suka. With your Chris, Pastor Baba, I'm seeing Biafra already, man. Yeah, man.
Freedom! 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 Freedom!
Have mercy on we, Biafra. Lord, give us a freedom. Have mercy on we, Biafra, and give us a freedom. Oh, Lord, have mercy on we, Biafra, and give us a freedom. Father, we need our leader. Prophet, we need our leader. We need our leader. The evil and wicked British and Fulani Caliphate can't stop the sun from shining from the east of God. And some Biafrans all over the globe, are you feeling me, Ajante? Oh, you know, I feel you from my location, you know. We are going back to our homeland, to our roots to go again. Biafra nation is around. We are going home to where Jehovah rules. We are going back to our homeland now, to our roots. Biafra nation. We are going back to our homeland now, to our roots. Biafra nation is around. We are going home to where Jehovah. We are going back to our homeland now.
Testing. Hello. Biafra Republic. Biafra Republic. Oneme ihe na-adịghị ekwe omume. Oneme ihe na-adịghị ekwe omume. Oneme ihe na-adịghị ekwe omume. Ihe na-adịghị ekwe omume. Ihe na-adịghị ekwe omume ka ọ na-eme. You have made history today. By the power conferred on me as the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile. And after you have voted for the open gate for the Biafra freedom, which is 100% vote. This charter has become a law and therefore shall be called the Biafra Helsinki Declaration 2023. Thank you. Remember to get your copy. Remember to get your copy. Remember to get your copy.
Thank you. DJ, if you can please give us more music. We have till about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we head out to go and get our jackets. DJ, please, 10 minutes, let's dance more. This is a great day. DJ, please give us the music.
Oh, yeah. Careful.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's continue, my people. Let's continue. All hail Biafra. All hail Biafra. Okay, please. Oh, no music. Important announcement. Can we stop?
We don't need to take the PM and then we can only. I got okay, so group picture. I capture the group picture. Okay, so we can take yeah. I move for it. Tomorrow. So I'm gonna take group picture, everybody.
Listen up. Do you want to take group pictures? Okay, then sit. Please pay attention. So we have copies of the Biafra Charter. If you like what you heard, if you want to go home, if you want your people to understand the law before you leave, pick up your charter and pick up copies for your folks back home. They need to understand it because information is what? Power. Pick up your charter. We have limited copies and we won't reprint, okay? And keep paying attention to the announcement.
Thank you so much, Yuma. So, greetings, everybody. Some of you have paid for your charter online at the Mandate Forum. If you know you've paid for the Biafran Charter online, then you can come to me. I have the list, and you get a copy of your charter. Then those that still want to get a copy of the charter is $100 or euros. It's $100, and we'll give out more copies. But it's first come, first serve. If you know you've paid on Mandate, they have preference. Thank you.
Okay, you pick up 4. Okay. We have them. More announcements. We have a lot of souvenirs out there, and we need everyone to pick up something. Okay, pick up. Now that box is not there. That box. Pick up something before you leave. Your charter is mandatory. Then pick any souvenir that you wanna pick. All right.
And finally, we have to evacuate the venue 6 p.m. latest. So whatever we are doing, we must make sure that we have gathered our jackets and we are outside by 6 p.m. Thank you very much.
What did they pick? Okay, and pay attention. People that have ordered merchandise, the souvenirs, if you ordered, please meet Bishop Comfort and pay, or meet Pastor Rose and pay, or meet Madam Dorothy and pay, please. One more thing, cabinet members that are here, ministers and heads of departments, we have books that were donated by the Prime Minister. First come, first served. Once it's gone, it's gone. If you want a copy, come up here.
It's M. Josh on
No, it wasn't really much to do because the other people are yeah, I get clean, they clean and I get clean. Then I just continue from where we start. 7 maybe, yeah, 7 hours. You go when I got on like 7. It's always good. I won't get on a follow me there. How could you go? So you can check. How did it end?
If you want the charter, go outside. No,
Then one is mine, so, but I don't remember which one, but we can take both of them.
yeah, okay. My husband don't go to be there. I don't know more Kachikwaya. So let's
The
take
committee, you know, great work, fantastic. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Let's see how tomorrow will go, right? But today was the most
I'm
important.
feeling it. Tomorrow will be almost like celebration.
Tomorrow can be better. Tomorrow can be better.
Great work. I'm impressed. Thank you very much.
And this was lovely.
Yes.
This, wow, that was a surprise.
It was the last minute.
Oh yes, fantastic.
Something.
Fantastic. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh,
Good job. Yes.
Nice to meet you. No problem.
This hotel, this value, because I think I got a lot of things mixed up with. So this place had some kind of 5% discount for people who attended this place. But my other activity had the men at the place.
Oh, you remember that man? Imagine you get Joe Mazio or Dr. Sorry. Rose, Pastor Rose. Because how I know they are more lodge now.
Okay. Daya Pastor Rose,
the orange.
jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, I was waiting for you to come and pick this.
Because it's really more relaxing, but you want really calm. It's like very good. Which one will you pick?
Normally, people should stay here.
Okay, yeah, that's much better.
Because we're going to announce the one you total phone ever.
Huh?
Phone Pastor Rose. Our telephone.
More myself to go to my own phone.
Yes, because of the
That was mine. Mine.
My announcement about
Sorry.
my announcement.
Yes, people, Batawa.
Biafra gates open.
Open today. Wow.
Thank you.
Who owns this telephone? Who owns this telephone? Who owns this telephone?
Okay, my dear Pastor Rose.
Pastor
Pastor Rose.
Pastor Rose.
Pastor Rose. Pastor Rose. Give me the coat time.
Nke Pastor Rose na ring mana ọ bụrụ nke dị.
Yesterday, that the one with
Pastor Rose.
Oh, what the one here?
Oh, ama bụrụ nke dị. Ana ọ dị nọmba.
I want to be there.
Ọ bụrụ nke dị.
Okay.
good job. Bro, I know so that you give up the work. You just want to work, right?
They're going to carry you jacket there before.
I was
before
surprised.
A lot of things.
Guy, put on and I will jacket before.
You don't have any work that makes you happy. Yeah. Who's gonna take our
Let's go and take our jacket before they close.
Okay, I'll give my because set
Okay. No problem.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I did, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very clear. Okay. Yes, but this every time I don't go with them.
Yes, because better. That one now.
Welcome my head up because
Jota is a with a picture.
okay, says every time you forward it to me, I forward to them. Forward it to Prof.
Can you wait for
Sports section. Sports section. I want to join football. Then I got joined them. Thank you. Okay. Monsieur Nehe Group.
Whose camera is that? Can I get it? Yeah, send I up. This is which camera is that? Okay. Good. Exactly. Just Nelson. Nelson. Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Okay. Are you Mr. Goodman?
No, I'm His Academic Kindness.
Academic Kindness. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
To be a nation of intellectuals.
Yes.
Crafted men and women.
Exactly.
We have all our name invention.
Yeah, our voice. It's not California. Okay. Now you get so personal with this place.
Nigeria will catch fire. I hope the DJ is
otu nwa nwanyị aga m abịakwa maazị uche abata o kwesịrị ịbata maazị uche kwesịrị ịbata si ebe a izuru ya okay. And I'm saying, good day, within car. Thank you, man. Seba. Oh, yeah, machine in the oh, yeah, neck rate. Okay, oh, yeah, neck rate. I got winning now. Oh, yeah, where be our way? Thank you. Thank you. That's a great one, you. Onye foto. Send them on.
If they come say, and also what? They come say, say go to. Okay, come join, no?
You see, man has that thing. Nga size so so mun. Man has he make you. Huh? No, yes, no.
One of them guy we have one because we're going to why one year.
Time I had gone over.
My wife is waiting for me. Did you get it? Did you get it? Okay, we're gonna. Um,
Just him one coming and one them say come by and say
But you from say one. Wait, one. I think.
you say like what I can say yeah.
Check up, say.
What I can say